Hola, ¿cómo estás? Mi soy Ben.
Nada.
What's up, Miller? What's up, senior manager? Tell me how's.
I just did my first Orange Theory workout. Fucking tired. First hit workout in like 4 or 5 years.
Wait.
Wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be. It's a lot of running. It's just kind of annoying. Bye, Boopin.
He already left. God damn it.
Hi, Boopin.
Chris. Hey, my thing just said recording stopped and kicked me out.
Yeah, you just got to refresh your browser on your original one.
Okay. Wait. You joined Orange Theory, Miller?
Yeah, I got the class passes. That stuff got me like 12 passes for Christmas because I was going to buy it. So.
Did you go in person?
Yes, that's what Orange Theory is.
I don't know. Fuck. Like
I know Miller's on his thing. All right, you guys ready?
Yes, I was in person.
I don't know. It's a fucking cult. Is all I know about it.
It's a club.
It's a cult. Sure. Those people go every day.
You're basically calling a group of people a cult for being in shape. That is literally America right now. Let's demonize the people that are in shape.
No, not just in shape.
You guys are supposed to be quiet during that whole thing. You guys just keep going.
Why? So we can cut it properly?
Yeah.
Hello. That's how it's done, Miller. Okay. What's up, people? Welcome to the Trio of Positivity podcast. Possibly our last show for a little bit. Boys are talking about what the next show will be. We don't have a clear idea, so I'm excited to talk to you all. Thank you for joining us today. I got my boys with me. We're going to talk about our season, the NFL season overall. Focus on the Bears as we always do. Give like lots happening here. We'll do a little recap of things we went through the year as well. Just a nice little bow to wrap up this season, boys. I'm excited. I'm your host, Boopan, co-host Boopan. My Positive Brigade members are here. Miller's here. Chris is here. What's up, boys?
All I know is apparently it's Christmas going to be coming right around the corner.
That's what I said?
No, I'm looking at the Christmas tree in your background.
I am just lazy. I believe it on
brother. It's January 15th.
Okay, there's nothing good to look around. Okay, it's all fucking dark and dreary. This gives me joy. It's gonna be up till end of January. You guys took it down already? Wow, you guys.
Yeah,
that shit was down on fucking January 1st. Our Christmas decorations outside are still up because the weather's been shit. That Christmas tree was on the curb, bro.
Wow.
But we only have 2 weeks to put it out there for our trash people to pick it up. So
no, this is artificial. We went artificial this year for the little kiddo. But no, I'll be off till something fun for me to look at till end of January. That's my plan. Quick social plug before we begin. We got a Facebook page, Trio Positivity Podcast. At Twitter, we are at Trio Positivity. We got a YouTube channel, Trio of Positivity Podcast. We may or may not have a TikTok. We have a website.
We definitely don't have a TikTok anymore.
You don't have a TikTok as of Sunday.
No, as of Sunday. As of Sunday, Miller. As of Sunday, I'll have to find Red something is the new app people were saying.
Yeah, I love that.
Hopefully the website will have some off-season posts going on,
Probably not.
Chris. All right. Let's start here, okay? The whole season is behind us. The wild card weekend is behind us. What stood out to you, boys? Who wants to kick?
I have the best answer. Do you want me to go first or last?
Go for it.
NFC North overrated? Question mark.
We did.
You had 2 teams.
We did not.
The Packers and the Vikings get completely sloshed.
I think the Vikings
Interesting
got
take, isn't it?
exposed. I think the Vikings got exposed, but I don't think that's an NFC North issue because the Lions are still number one and is still projected to go to the Super Bowl. So
No, I get that, but everybody was talking about how we were the best division in football. And I think this weekend showed that we're not the best division in football. We may have the best team in the league, but we don't have the best division in football.
This just shows how the playoff format doesn't reward people for having a great record.
I think I have a decent answer for that. I think Sam Darnold had one of the worst two games of his career, right? And
he's had some pretty good bad games in his career.
Well, at least this year.
This year, I'll give you this.
He was like pretty so. I think that showed that if you have that middling quarterback, if you have that, if the floor of your quarterback is that low, I don't care what kind of team you put around, it brings the overall team down. Is what I learned from the Vikings. I think.
I don't know, dude.
That's questionable.
You're blaming everything on Darnold when their defense got shellacked, ran up and down. Their running game was pathetic. Their offensive line was pathetic. Like Darnold looked bad. Don't get me wrong, but it's just like these last two games they lost like 59-17.
Yeah, it did not look like.
My question was like, if they lost, like I don't know, like 27-21. Would you feel similarly? I feel like I would have felt differently if they were competitive. The fact
if they were competitive games, you're right. I would have definitely felt differently. But the bottom line is, two of the interdivision teams went one to the NFC West and one to the NFC East and got completely destroyed.
Eagles, their defense is legit, and I think they and the Lions will be a good game to watch in the divisional round. I think
the championship round, you mean?
Sorry, championship round, next round. But I think that would be a fun game to watch. But I think Packers got exposed too a little bit. Again, I know people around the league have high opinions on Love. He's never blown me away. He has these miraculous throws that work, and if they do, they're a good team. They're a great team. But he throws in double, triple coverage, and if they don't work, that's what they look like. I was like, the only player that I saw was playing hard for the Packers was Josh Jacobs. He was running his fucking.
He's looked really good this year.
Yeah, that was crazy, but I don't know. I don't think the regular. Okay, let's say this. Okay, the 14-win season for the Vikings that's not a fluke. That does not just happen. Let's say they had a really good season and they got exposed. That could be Darnold. That could be maybe that Brian Flores got outmatched, whatever it was. But that's what I would say. But
you know what I think it is? Hearing you guys out, I just think that the Vikings team, I don't know their age and whatnot. When it was a must-win against the Lions to get that bye week, pressure came and they got slapped. And also being a 14-win team and having to play on the road, and then with the whole thing that's happening in Los Angeles, I would say the cards were stacked against them.
Win your fucking division.
Yeah, you say that, but it's you have
they
a team
did everything.
Literally they would have won every other division with 14 wins.
Yeah, and they could have had a chance to win theirs if they beat the Lions, and they didn't. So cry me a river.
Did you really think they would beat the Lions, though?
Nope.
All right, so then why are we bringing that up? It's
because you're complaining because they had to go on the road. Well, win your division. They had a chance to beat the Lions. They didn't do it. So guess what? You didn't win your division. You get to go on the road. Sorry.
That's a great argument too. I heard it a couple times. The reseeding.
Shit.
Reseeding in the playoffs.
I don't like reseeding. Reward the team that wins their division.
But even with a 9-win division, a weak.
Who cares? They won their division. They did what their first goal was at the beginning of the year. Everybody's first goal is to win their division. Guess who didn't do that? The Vikings didn't.
A couple other teams.
Because then you start to open the door to, okay, do we have weak divisions? Do we have strong divisions? Strength of schedule? Oh, their strength of schedule was better than this.
Let me ask you a question, Miller.
It's just win your division. It's easy.
Okay, no, it's not easy. So let's say you had 3 teams in one division in what you consider the strong division, right? You expect those 3 teams to pass to the next round in a strong division?
What?
If you have a strong division and 3 of those teams make the playoffs, you expect them to go to the next round.
If they're the best team on the field, then they should win.
Okay, so with Green Bay, Eagles were the better team, so that's already a wash. So that argument means nothing. The only team here that really has that issue is just the Vikings. That's it.
Okay.
So to me, it's just
Commanders walked into Tampa Bay and beat them.
they didn't walk in, and that was
Be better. Stop making excuses for these teams because they can't win their fucking division when they have a game to win their division and they fucking lay an egg. Stop making excuses for it. Stop adjusting everything for it. Win your fucking division. I'm not going to play this stupid game where then you're going to start talking about, well, this team played the AFC East and the NFC West, and those were the easiest divisions, and they should be up here when I have the toughest division, but I only won 9 games. Blah, 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 blah. There's always going to be a reason to change everything. Just win your division, and then you get home field advantage in the playoffs. It's very simple.
You get number 1 seed and you get home field. You can win your division and still just get 1 home.
You know what I meant.
So, no, you're wrong. That's what I know you meant. You're wrong.
The first weekend you get home field advantage if you win your division.
Here's the fun part, right? People do the same calculations to figure out who were winning the division. They did that for Rams and Seattle, right? Like, why the fuck it's like that much more difficult? Like, if you're saying win the fucking how is it if I win 14 games and you win 9, why am I not better than you? Then you
don't play the same teams as that person.
Like, okay, so like the strength of schedule fucking matters then.
Right?
If you're gonna start making all these new rules, like it's a very simple formula.
It's not about new rules. It's my thing is that I think if the Vikings had a home game compared to the other teams, this is a different story. I think the Vikings are a better home team.
Then win your fucking division.
All right, we're going in circles.
That's right. Also, the Commanders were a doink away from going to overtime, so I don't.
I know, like they didn't.
Don't make it seem like they walked in and dominated that game either.
I didn't. I said they walked into Tampa Bay and won. It's literally what I said, and that's exactly what they did. You're sitting here preaching home field advantage, and a rookie just walked in.
You do realize that that's the only team that won this weekend that was away, right? Besides the whole
every home team win.
Every home team won. So
you mean every division winner won?
No,
except Tampa Bay. Great. That's what happens when you win your division. You're a good team.
All right. We will not.
You literally just said you win your division and you win it, and Tampa Bay lost, but that's okay.
We're beside the point. You have backtracked twice, but I'm not gonna call you out on it. Whatever.
No, I'll call them out.
Okay, so 7-1. 7, 6-1, 6-5-1, 5-1.
What are you talking about?
What's the record of home teams this week? 5-1.
All of them won except for 1.
So 5-1. It's pretty good.
All right. Okay. Chris, you got something for the wild card NFL season? I got something for Miller otherwise.
I hate the playoff format. I genuinely hate it. I thought I was going to enjoy all the football that's happening on Saturday, Sunday, and then the Monday nighter threw it off. I don't know why we're doing a Monday night game.
So dumb.
It just makes zero sense to me. I think at the end of the day, what's going to end up happening is in 2-3 years, the committee is going to come in and they're either going to want to have a Monday game for every slate of the playoffs, or we're going to have more teams because there's no point of having.
I mean, you know why. It's money. ESPN. Money.
I get it, but now the team that was on Monday is at a disadvantage. They got 1 day less. Like, it's going to be a competition committee conversation where it's like, how do we address this?
And I understand. Wild card, right? The rest of it's Saturday, Sunday, right?
You're not even giving it to a team that had a bye week, or you're not even giving it to a team that's like that played at a different time. It's just the way it's slated, and I don't know.
I understand if like Saturday, Sunday is fine, but they still have the whole week to prepare. One is a normal week, and then one has 1 extra day. But like a Monday night throws off everybody's rhythm, and now you have to get back on the horse and play on either Saturday. I'm assuming it's probably Sunday, but you have to play quicker. It's so stupid.
it just seems like there's some.
The
rules
NFL is
to
just
it.
getting so cocky and shitty with their fucking scheduling now
I
that
mean,
it's just become a joke.
At the end of the day, it's capitalism, but it does look like there's some rules as to like who plays when. Like somehow Texans always seem to play on the Saturday 3:30 slot, and same thing this weekend. There was some rule too that I heard that like some teams that like maybe like they have the best game Sunday afternoon or something like that. Like there's like certain things they try and do.
I just remember when they introduced the Saturday games and people were like, no one's going to like this, but they did it in a way where the teams that played Saturday will most likely match up the following Saturday,
Saturday
and the
yeah.
teams that play Sunday might most likely match up on Sunday. Now you have to try to match Saturday, Sunday, and then 2 teams on Monday, and then those 2 teams, whoever wins, is going to have to try to get into that.
Sunday,
Like,
yeah.
Like, I don't know. I mean, don't get me wrong.
All
It was
right.
nice watching football that meant something on a Monday. We've gotten a couple stinkers over the past couple weeks.
We only had like what 1-2 good games this weekend.
Yeah. The Washington game turned out to be kind of a lot of fun to watch. I actually watched that whole game live, and I was actually watching the whole thing.
Yeah, like no one gave Washington. I was like, they've won close games all season. Don't comment out. Everyone, like the whole betting community, was all in on Tampa. That was interesting to see.
Baker
But,
Mayfield is a solid quarterback. Like people shit on him for a lot of stuff, but
Like, I
I
wanna
know he
see a
made
team.
mistakes that game, but holy shit, I
know,
would
he
love to play
cared.
for him.
he cares. He's
Yeah.
like so fired up. He had a run, like a first down run, where he's just fucking taking contact, running through, and he was like so hyped up. It was so good. to
Mhm.
see. But since it's our annual tradition, I have to shit on Miller. This year, aging running backs that got paid or moved teams paid off dividends.
Yep.
We're talking about Jacobs. We're talking
Yep.
about Henry.
Yep.
Talking about Barkley.
Jacobs paid off dividends, huh?
Josh Jacobs.
Yeah, he did. Are
He
they
was a-
advancing?
I mean, they went.
Oh,
to
they're
the fucking-
home. They went
they
home.
They went to the playoffs.
Oh, okay.
They went to the playoffs.
Okay,
Better
keep
than
talking.
and Henry, Barkley, Taylor. Like Taylor didn't.
Oh,
make the playoffs.
Taylor paid off too?
He was a number 2
Really?
running back. I think. I'm
Oh,
pretty sure.
Colts lost. They had a chance to make the playoffs, didn't they? And they lost. Oh, okay. But Taylor makes up for it.
Notice that
Okay.
it's only.
no, hang
That's
on,
all
hang
right,
on.
Poopa. He's nitpicking because he's not talking about
All right.
Saquon
Do you
or.
guys even know what my
or
argument
Henry.
was for this?
That
Say it
running
again,
backs
so you
don't
could be
deserve
wrong.
to
Go
get
ahead.
paid.
Say it again
go
so
They
you
ahead.
could
don't
be wrong
deserve to
again.
be paid because of the fact. Name me the last one to win a Super Bowl. It's
It's
been
a
like
team game. Why does that fucking matter?
15 years because you can spread that money around to different
Oh, my-
positions.
So wait a minute. So Saquon or Henry would not be a reason for that team to win the Super Bowl this
No,
year?
I'm saying they
No,
would.
this
If
year,
they win,
this year.
it would defeat my argument. You're right. But for 15 years, a paid
what I-
running back hasn't.
That's
I
such a
don't
dumb
know.
argument.
They just started getting. They
How
just
is
started
it a
getting
dumb
drafted.
argument?
They just started getting drafted in the first round, and getting paid. Shut up, Miller. You're just a hater.
What are you talking about?
It's a
Like-
team game. Why is it have
Okay.
to be a running
So
back?
so
centric
it's not
team?
Barkley, but you're sitting here saying that it's all the running back, but then you're saying it's a team
No, no,
game.
no, no.
What did
You-
I?
you're-
You didn't. You
you
didn't.
You
Okay,
just
hang-
brought
hang-
up
hang
that a
on,
running
hang on.
back hasn't.
You
like,
didn't even listen. You
Yeah.
didn't even listen to me. I
can't
said
believe
running
Whipping
backs
and I
that
are
got
agreeing.
paid off dividends. I didn't say call.
No, I wasn't talking.
They
I was
won.
talking to Chris. Chris is sitting here saying that Barkley and Henry wouldn't get credit for winning the Super Bowl, and then he's coming and saying it's a team game. What I'm
No, I
saying
said it's
is
a team game to start.
okay. So
So then
don't
why-
sit here and
why
say
would
that
you- but
Barkley
why would you point
and Henry are
out-
the reason that they're winning if it's a team game.
Okay, but why are you pointing out your argument, which at first was about paying a certain amount of money to certain running backs of certain age, to now saying, well, a running back hasn't been a prominent player to win the Super Bowl?
I didn't
It's
say
irrelevant.
prominent. My thing was this was
I
my
gave you
thing.
an out.
Go look it up. Go look it up. I said running backs who have gotten paid have not won the Super Bowl in 12 to 15 years. So paying a running back over
Chris.
an offensive line or
Yeah.
other complementary pieces is not the right decision.
Chris, here's
Whether
the
if you want to
I know.
miss no, it's not. Go look it up. Stop making fucking like I'm not like I'm changing my argument and I'm not.
No, it's
I
not that
said
you're
it from the
changing your
very
argument.
beginning.
It's not that you're changing your argument. It's just that the argument is worse with you saying this.
the like.
What's the
argument
goal of
was-
a team? to win the Super Bowl.
This is not where it came from, though. You said it's not worth paying them because you can replace them very cheap. Yeah, that was your argument.
And
exactly what
yes, I said that because of the fact that it has been shown that paid running backs don't win Super Bowls.
Like, again, how, like, you just said it's a team game. Now
I
you're
said
saying
that.
that,
Well, to be
No,
fair,
Chris
hold on.
said it was a team game.
but
I said it was a team game too, in the sense that you should pay other people because a good offensive line makes your running back. You want to talk about DeAndre Swift and the year that he had last year?
Hang on.
Because it was the same offensive line that he's running at.
Exactly. So when a wide receiver or quarterback gets paid, do you also say the same thing?
It's a completely different argument.
Well, how is it different from a wide receiver?
Because a wide receiver makes his routes. He's one-on-one with the guy. A quarterback, that's a stupid argument. I don't even need to get into that. The bottom line is when you're talking about a running back, the blocking makes a lot of difference.
It does.
For running backs. And in my opinion, what I've said from the very fucking beginning, having a running back in the draft or getting a cheap running back with a solid offensive line, the uptick of paying a guy 12 to 15 million isn't there. You can go talk to the Colts. You can go talk to the Packers that just lost, or maybe you can go talk to the 49ers.
So the loss is on the running back then.
I'm just saying they're investing a lot of money in these players.
Okay, let's say the running back gets paid $5 million, right? You spread the $10 million between.
You want to call my dad? You want to call my dad and ask him what their biggest weakness is on their team? It's their offensive line.
I haven't talked to your dad this year. I'm down.
My question is, Miller. So let's say you save $12 million not paying the running back. What, like, would you like spread it out against all 5 people? Like, do you get one?
It doesn't all have to go towards the offensive line. You can use that money to get multiple pieces to make your team better.
So you would overpay for a quarterback. Essentially, it's just going to be a bust anyway. So like,
I don't know why you hate running backs. What they do to you,
like
but
you can counter it with any other position, just like a wide receiver quarterback that the money would have gone.
Whatever, dude. Go look at Detroit. You tell me who the better running back is. Do we need to bring Ben in here and talk about how Gibbs isn't able to carry the team on his back?
Now you're actually moving the goalpost.
Are you?
Who's the better running? Hold on. He moved it. Hold on. Let's ask this question. Who's the better running back in Detroit?
Are you serious?
I'm asking.
Jahmyr Gibbs. It's not even close.
How much is Jahmyr Gibbs getting paid?
He's a rookie. He's probably making like 2 million.
So when Detroit got Monty, it was at a deal, which you would have said yes to.
I would have.
Right.
I think it was $6 million at the time.
So what you're telling me is that if the Lions,
they didn't draft him.
Yeah, like so. You see the point that I'm like trying to get.
No, I have no idea where you're going with this.
Never mind. I'm done. Go ahead.
They paid Monty, but he's not the best running back on the team, and I'm supposed to care about Monty? Because you guys think he's the best running back on the team, even though yards per carry and touchdowns say it's differently. But sure, we can move on. I can just be wrong.
You just fucking keep moving the goalposts. I'm done with the argument. Like, dude, like your argument was running back.
People even said when Monty went down on his injury that it would change the running game because
a lot went through. Yeah, you're right. It made him better. Fucking stupid. Go look at the stats. Go look at the touchdowns per game and go look at the yards per game and tell me it did not make him better.
It did not. But go ahead.
Okay.
The other thing I want to say is like the young pass catchers made some noise this year. Brian Thomas Jr., Malik Neighbors, Brock Bowers, Trey McBride were all like top 10 in like pass catchers this year, and all 4 of them are rookie, if I'm not mistaken.
No, you've named more than rookies, but
wait, McBride's second year, is that right?
Yeah, McBride's second year, and wasn't there another guy? No, I think McBride's second year at least. He might be third year.
Boobin, out of curiosity, did Mixon get paid in Houston?
Yeah, he did. I didn't throw it in there because Milo was gonna say, "Oh, you finished top 40." Aaron Jones. For
the record, you guys have like 3 out of 6 teams that can put you over the top this year, and one of them is
gonna lose your argument.
One of them may. I mean, if I don't.
Yeah. All right, moving along, Boobin. We already got to figure it out.
I think that's the closest to a win we're gonna get.
Well, I'm very torn on Detroit because they paid Monty, but they didn't pay him like number 1 running back money.
They didn't pay Henry number 1 money.
Yeah, he got like 10, 12 million.
12 million. I think.
It's a steal. Everyone said it was a steal, bro. All
I
right,
mean,
continue. That's fine.
I mean, like what Miller's right about is like 10, 12 is probably the most the running back is gonna make in this. Maybe
Are we
McCaffrey
talking?
makes
Well, we're
20.
talking base because incentives obviously change.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Yeah, I'm talking about what the contract is they sign. I'm not talking about the guaranteed money. I'm talking about the annual value.
Yeah, like 10, 12 is probably base. McCaffrey probably makes like 15,
No, he makes
Maybe.
18.
18, but that's probably the height. Okay, but I think that will be challenged more next year, Miller. I just think Brees Hall and Bucky Irving. I think like there's a new generation of people coming, but we'll talk about that next year. Talking about
Challenge.
next year.
Hey, you guys could be right at the end of the day.
Talking about next
But
season.
you might
boys,
not.
It's time. Okay, let's get wild. Give me your wildest prediction for next year. Wow, so much energy. Miller.
Oh, you want me to go first again?
I don't know. Chris is not ready, so you go.
Vikings are going to be sub 500.
So McCaffrey starts, or what's it? McCarthy starts? Is that what?
I don't know. I just think they're going to be sub 500.
that's not even.
Looks like they're gonna lose their entire coaching staff to the Jets. Like
They're going to lose their
OC
defensive coordinator. They lost their best defensive player to a torn ACL on Sunday or on Monday. And they're either going to be starting a rookie quarterback or possibly another cornerback because it doesn't look like Darnold's coming back, even though I think he should. So, hey.
Wow, okay. I
For them
have
to
a lot
go
of faith.
for them to go sub 500, that means that they would have to lose twice against Lions, Packers, and
They would
twice
have to
against
lose
Bears.
9 games.
half of the games here. So no, they don't have to go 0-2. They can go 1-1, lose a bunch of games.
I don't know.
One thing,
That's a
one thing, Miller, that's working in their favor. They're not playing the first place schedule. They're playing second place schedule, so that's slightly better. But I see why you should say that.
Team is not good.
They won 14 games. Stop
And
being
they
a hater.
just got blown out the last 2. I don't know if you're
Again, that does not negate the 14 wins, Miller. Let me tell you.
Boopin, what did you just say at the beginning?
What did I just say?
You said they got found out. So you had 2 teams that completely trashed their team and that unlocked how to beat the Vikings. You know what's going to happen next year?
Same with that.
Ta-da! Like,
Okay,
okay, first of all, you literally said, give me your wildest prediction. I said one thing and I'm getting fucking crucified for it.
No, like I'm trying to figure out how, and I think I agree with you. I think like biggest thing will be
The
Flores
sub
is
500
gone.
Such a dip, though.
I know from 14 with it's a wild
It's a
wild
dip.
prediction.
It's a wild. He's definitely.
It's not that big a dip. Like 14
He
teams.
lost 3
How many times does a team win 13 plus games in every year in a reoccurring year? It doesn't happen very often. So realistically, they're going to take a step back. If you're going to realistically talk about it, like their expectations might be like 11.5 wins. So like 12 and 11. So you're talking about losing 3 games more. Like it's not that big a deal. But sure.
Well, sub 5 is what their what's the record? 9-8.
Yeah.
No, that's
be
still
8 and
above.
9.
So it'd be 8-9. So they're losing 6 games
outside of division.
Yeah.
I mean, they only lost
Possible.
3. That's the only reason I'm saying like 6 more. But like again, 2 years ago they lost they won.
They weren't expected to get the record they got this year either.
They were projected to win. I think their over-under was like 5-6 wins.
Yeah. Like no, a couple of years ago, remember they were like they won every close game and then were like fucking again really high seed and then lost to the Giants in the first round. I remember that.
I'm really basing this argument on the fact that they're going to start JJ McCarthy. I am.
So if it's Daniels, would you change that?
You mean Darnold?
Or Darnold, sorry.
No,
If it's
Daniels is also there.
Oh, yeah. I would keep it with Daniels. Is this Daniel? It's Daniel Jones.
Daniel Jones, sorry.
Sorry, yes. That guy is also there.
I would keep it with Jones probably. I don't think he's a good quarterback. I think Darnold's the best quarterback because he can actually pass what McCarthy is looking for. I don't think Daniel Jones can.
Okay.
Interesting. All right, Boobin, what you got?
I hope I'm wild enough, but
Bears are
saying-
gonna make the Super Bowl.
no,
I almost
Sanders.
went that direction.
Sanders leaves Colorado to go to Vegas and brings his son to be the quarterback there.
You're already wrong there, brother.
Why?
There's talks of him going to Dallas.
I think if Sanders is such a huge personality, Vegas is a so much better fit for him than Dallas, in my personal opinion.
I think for the memes and for everything, it's better in Dallas.
I guarantee you he's not going anywhere this year.
I'll take that bet.
Wait, with his son coming out, this is the best chance of him leaving Colorado.
I don't think he's leaving.
No.
You want to take the bet?
I'll take that bet.
Wait. But you think his son's getting drafted top 5, right?
Yeah, he's gonna be a
And-
top 5 quarterback. The thing is, though, is that what Sanders is doing is pretty smart. He's already telling teams like, "Don't
Yeah.
bother drafting my kid." Like he's already trying to play that.
He's not going to the NFL this year. If you want my honest prediction on what's going to happen, the Giants are going to take Sanders. At the end of the year, they're going to fire Dable, and then they're going to bring in Dion.
For the
Yeah, sure.
Giants, though,
That's my prediction.
that's a good
if you
prediction. That's wilder than the other one. I would have gone with that.
I just thought I just thought Vegas
Because you talk
glamour-
about the Cowboys are not getting his son. So that completely destroys that. The only option is the Raiders, and the Raiders have to go over at least one or two teams to
they're
get
in
him.
6. They're in 6.
And I don't
They
think
need-
the Raiders are going to get him.
I think it would make sense.
Or
Like,
the Raiders could get him. I don't think the Raiders are going to get Dion. So, I mean, that's why I don't think Dion's coming out, because it's either going to be one of those two teams. And I think he wants to see where his son ends up. And most of the teams where his son could end up have Chris's word, lame duck head coaches on them. So that could open up the possibility of him getting with his son next year.
I mean, the value of trying to get him, like trying to trade. I mean, although the contract's not that great.
Like you look at Cleveland, they have Stefanski, he could be out. You look at the Giants, they have Dable, he could be out. Like taking a chance that the Raiders are going to get him, it's a pretty big chance. Unless they're really going to move heaven and earth to get to the number 1 pick.
It might not even have to be the number 1. That's what I
I
read.
don't.
I read that.
Sound
if
like
the-
he's
Yeah, but
gonna
you
go
can't-
number 1.
But if you're taking Dion with the expectation of putting them together, you can't bank on that.
But
No,
he's
you
gonna
can't.
he's gonna
You
pull
can't.
a Eli and not play. He's gonna not play for, like Chris was saying. He's already saying
the
he
the
won't
thing
go
with
to some-
Eli, though, the thing with Eli, and a lot of people seem to forget this, is that there was 2 quarterbacks that were projected to go 1 and 2.
Yeah, Phillip
So-
Rivers and Eli.
Right. And so there was always a take of like whichever team drafted whichever quarterback was going to be fine. And obviously both quarterbacks did great. You don't really have that this year. So you
There's
don't
3
really
or 4
have
quarterbacks.
No, not to the point where you
There's
have
2 quarterbacks. There's literally 2 quarterbacks.
well, the
that are
one from
compared.
Texas just announced, but I don't even think
It's
they
not
projected
him.
in
It's
top
the
5.
Cam
Miami.
Ward and it's Shadar
Miami.
Sanders.
I don't
Yeah,
think they're
Miami.
going 1-2 though.
Yes, they are.
I
Okay,
don't-
they might not be going
They
1-2,
might not-
but
that's-
they are.
So, but that's what I'm saying. So because they're not going 1-2, if you're Dallas and you want to make a play, you kind of have to.
But see, the
make
thing is,
that pass work.
there's so many quarterback needy teams behind the second spot that right now I think the expectation is that one of them will trade up to one of those 2 spots and get it. Because we don't know if the Titans are going to buckle down. I doubt they are at this point since they got rid of their GM. They're probably going to get a quarterback at 1. And then you have the Browns sitting at 2.
But-
So they're either going to trade back or they're
You
going to
don't
draft a
think
quarterback.
Either team would want. I'm blanking on his
Travis
name.
Hunter,
No, you don't think either team would want the Dallas quarterback? What's his name?
Prescott.
Yeah, like that's still enough to want to get you to trade
From 12 to 2?
12-2 with Prescott, and you'll probably have to add a second for.
Are you kidding me? You have to add in probably 3 first-round picks.
No. If you're adding in Prescott, no, you don't.
A $55 million quarterback?
If they have the space for it, you don't need to.
You're
You gotta-
nuts.
You got so
You're
you're
nuts.
saying Prescott and 3 first rounders.
From
is
12 to 2. What
Miller,
did
we
what did
didn't-
we get? We got 3 first-rounders and DJ Moore. Or 2 first-rounders.
We got
2 first-rounders, 2 second
Even the
rounders.
trade that we gave up
and
for
a fourth
Mitchell
rounder.
wasn't 3 firsts. Like
We moved from 3 to 2.
Exactly, and it was still labeled the worst deal. So that's what I'm saying.
That's
like,
irrelevant. We're
No, it's
going.
not.
You're talking
You're
about a team going from 12 to 2.
it's been done, and you don't need
I'm not
three
saying that
first.
it hasn't.
Right, you don't need 3 first if you're putting in Prescott. Is what I'm saying. You can do. You could probably do a.
I mean, like
first.
Prescott is DJ Moore, Miller.
You
like
said
Chris.
Prescott and like a fourth.
Prescott
okay.
a first. Prescott this changing the first and then the second.
At least 2 first.
No, you're actually giving up 2 firsts.
At least
Bottom
2 firsts.
minimum. You're giving up
That's
your
what we
pick.
got.
I mean, Chris, you have to remember that when you're saying you're giving up a first round pick, that's their 12th pick.
Chris.
So they're going to swap the picks, give an additional first, Prescott, and maybe another.
Chris.
How far
or
ahead
something
can you
like that.
trade your first rounders? Is it 2 years ahead?
Yeah, I think so.
But think
But
of Colorado.
It's not going to happen. It's not
Think
going
of
to happen.
Carolina. They were at 9 or something, and we were at 1. They gave us 2 firsts, 2 seconds, and
DJ Moore.
DJ Moore. So
Yeah, but DJ Moore didn't have the contract.
Yeah, he did.
No, he
No,
didn't.
He was
I mean,
paid.
No, but
He
we
was
still
on
renewed.
his contract.
But we still renewed. So that
Okay,
what I-
congratulations. You signed someone to an extension. He was still getting paid money. He wasn't on his rookie deal.
I don't think it was that big. I don't think it was as big as Prescott though.
I mean, probably
It's
not.
definitely
what
not
we
as
paid.
big as Prescott,
So
but he was
that's why
still
I'm-
getting
I'm
paid
trying to
wide receiver
compare,
money.
Like I'm trying to do comparisons of like
55
money would
million
be-
versus like 8 million. Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
so
No,
that's
he
what I'm
was
saying.
making probably 17.
What
Mm,
was he? I don't know.
I don't
That
think
sounds
so.
too much. But okay.
All right, so,
Uh,
all right, Miller. But
Chris.
you're saying 2 first rounders, Prescott and Moore,
Probably 2 seconds.
Probably
2 ones, 2
another.
twos, and Prescott.
Maybe not 2 twos, but probably 2 firsts and maybe a second.
Okay. That's mine. Chris, you got something? Could be literally anything.
Man, looking at the landscape of next season, it's just like, what do you really want to see, and then what do you think is possible? So
Go
I'm gonna
wild,
go.
man. Go wild.
I'm gonna go that Fields will stay with the Steelers and will take them to the playoffs.
Ooh.
That's a wild prediction. Good job.
Wait. We'll have to go over your bold prediction. That was yours for this year, saying he will be the starter by week 6.
I still won.
Mine or Chris's?
I still won.
You didn't win. Technically, he was benched in week 6.
He still was a starter and had a winning
No,
record.
you said barring injury. It's I listened to
Oh,
it
actually,
today.
but here's the thing too, which you guys seem to forget, is he got benched because someone got better. Like someone was out of injury. So
Someone was better than him. Yeah.
was better in health. Obviously, it wasn't better. Although I don't know if you guys have been hearing the rumors, but rumors have been having it now that the season's over, Fields and Wilson were not getting along, and the offensive
I haven't read
coordinator wanted Fields over Wilson.
Yeah, it seems like Fields
I haven't read any of
being-
that.
Fields is being talked about in backup in good teams right now. That's what I've heard.
I'm surprised they didn't do something more with Fields, to be honest. The way Russell Wilson played down the stretch, like you don't. I get that you're not going to put him in the playoff game right off the bat, the rip
Right.
like that. But
that's
I mean,
what Tomlin does, though. Tomlin is that guy. He doesn't like. I think like
if he
he's
doesn't
very old school kind of guy. I think
if
that's
he
why-
doesn't get playing time in that Week 18 game against the Ravens, when Wilson looks anemic, like Tomlin
The
has
decision was
to. Tomlin must really think very low of Fields. I don't see him coming back.
I see
Like,
him coming back because he's going to be cheaper.
he's going to be a backup in some other team.
I don't think so.
Yeah, he's gone. He's
For the
gone.
amount,
I
here's
think
the
he's
thing.
as good as gone.
Okay, but and then we'll move on because we already talked.
We're already so long. It's
Yeah.
fine.
It's fine.
If you
We'll
had to
fly-
choose Wilson or Fields to come back to Pittsburgh, who would you actually prefer?
for the
I
same
would
contract,
I would sign with you, Chris. I
No,
would
wait,
prefer
wait, no,
Fields.
same-
I know. I'm not
same
saying that's an
contract?
argument. I'm not saying
same
that
contract.
You can do whatever
Whatever.
contract you
Who
want.
cares?
I'm just saying.
Okay, let's say Russell makes 20 and Fields makes 10.
Yeah,
That's
whatever.
probably kind of accurate. Like, I'm with you, but the fact that Tomlin just told us at the end of the season that Fields wasn't good enough to start over a quarterback that played like shit for the last 5 games, you think he's going to come back? I have a hard time thinking it.
The thing is that Fields is now officially a project because he got decent numbers during his he didn't give us off the wall numbers during the time that he played. But I think I even said that
They're pretty good, but
they're good, but they're not like off the wall. Like, oh my god,
the offense didn't look good.
I mean,
So
like
it's another project.
His ceiling was low, and that's what we talked about, right? Like on his best day, he was like 200 yards and whatever, like I don't know, 80 yards rushing, right? That was his ceiling.
But we all agree we didn't get his full potential in Chicago, and he didn't.
We did
his
not,
full
and I don't think
potential
Pittsburgh
in
did either.
Pittsburgh. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
What I was saying is those limitations. Someone
You can't. I completely disagree.
You thought we saw the best of Fields and the Bears?
As far as Pittsburgh, you can't keep saying just because he doesn't put up good numbers that they didn't get the best out of him. The bottom line is they had Russell Wilson come in and put up multiple 300-yard gain, turn George Pickens into a superstar for a few weeks. Like, if Fields was going to do that, then he could have done it.
Yeah,
we can't keep using this excuse that these teams aren't doing it.
No, I'm not saying these teams didn't do it. I'm saying Fields' skills is not there yet to like be that elite passer or like at least average passer.
He was never an elite passer though.
Like average.
He was an elite deep ball thrower.
Yeah, he's got a good deep ball, but like
but no.
I don't think you can do that in NFL.
No Caleb Williams.
All right, moving on. Since we are just trolling people at this point,
Miller never.
You don't ever troll people.
Miller, what you got for the Bears?
For the record, DJ's contract when we traded for him was 3 years at $61 million a piece. He was making $20 million when we brought him on.
Damn! So we actually saved money by signing.
That's what I'm like. I knew the number was high, but I knew it wasn't.
We signed him to a 4-year, $110 million contract.
But I knew the contract was high.
You said it was not high.
It was when you're not as Prescott high, but it wasn't $8 million either.
Yeah.
I mean, $8 million for a wide receiver is like there's probably 5 people making more.
Mooney made 11, dude. Call me a roll.
Not this year. When we traded for DJ Moore, no, I feel like wide receiver getting buku money is like a very recent.
DJ Moore's a fucking really good wide receiver.
He had one good year.
He's literally before he got to the Bears, he had like 4,000 or 5,000 yard seasons.
No way.
Yes. He was always getting yards. He didn't get touchdowns because the Panthers never scored.
They always would be like he could use a better quarterback. He was always a bust in fantasy draft. That's all I remember. Let's see his stats.
Did we lose Miller?
He had.
I can see Boopin. You were a little fuzzy.
No, you're back. You're fine. All right, moving on because we're going in circles. Miller's going to be researching and he's going to call back.
Boopin is going to be researching. He said he was looking up DJ Moore stats.
2018, 780 yards. 2022, 800 yards. 3,000 yard season.
You went from 2017 to 2022. Congratulations.
No. I said in between 3,000 yard season, 1,100 yards in between. But again, that's right. I don't remember him being elite. But yeah,
I wouldn't say he's elite. But this
he's
is where
absolutely elite. He just doesn't have. He never had a quarterback control.
He does have elite
numbers. But at the time,
I
was going to say at the time of the trade, we wouldn't say that he was an elite.
You would say that he was definitely a number one wide receiver.
Yes, that I agree with.
100%. He wasn't. Allen Robinson was that the guy we used to argue
our 1A or 1B that we had a couple of years ago.
I can't go back. Miller, give us an update on the Bears head coach update. Search, please. Sorry.
Oh, that's where we're going. Okay. I almost exited out of the screen. Okay, so we got the odds. And these odds may have changed in the last 30 minutes to 2 hours. But
there's odds on this?
Yes. The current odds as of January 15th at 1 p.m., I'm going to preface that. Ben Johnson was minus 250 to be the head coach of the Bears. Mike McCarthy plus 300 to be the head coach of the Bears. And then Kingsbury behind him, Pete Carroll, Flores, and Joe Brady. So at the time of this, Ben Johnson was the favorite. That actually moved within the last few days from minus 125 to 250. So it really seems like Ben Johnson was the favorite until we got a quote from Ian Rappaport this evening that basically said that it seems that Ben Johnson is going to be going to the Raiders based on conversations that or expectations around the league. Now, obviously that could change. That may be one-sided, but that is kind of what he's hearing from player personnel. So I don't know. I'm going to be honest with you both. as long as it's Ben Johnson and Mike McCarthy, I think I'll be okay with it. I've come aboard the Mike McCarthy train, if you will. What are your thoughts on those two guys, or do you have a preference on another candidate?
Okay, I have a question for you. Are you settling with Mike McCarthy?
Are you settling? No. So
you want him?
No. So here's where
no. No.
It's not settling if I get told no.
It's like settling for like the second prettiest girl at the ball.
That's what I'm saying. Wait a minute.
So here's the thing. Here's my.
Are you really settling though?
So like Ben Johnson's the new head coach, and I do think he's going to be really good if he's put in a situation with pieces. Raiders are not that, and who knows if they ever will be in that division. But regardless, Mike McCarthy has a proven track record of being in the playoffs and having good teams. He led Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre to Hall of Fame careers. He has produced some of the best Dak Prescott seasons that he's ever had down in the Cowboys, so he can get the most out of his quarterback. Having him come here isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's not, I wouldn't call it settling. It's taking a proven commodity that's done it at the highest level, that knows how to run a team, because he does have a Super Bowl ring, compared to a guy that's never done it. Now, I do think Ben Johnson does offer a lot of he offers a different type of new age offense where Mike McCarthy is just going to be bland. But I have come around to seeing them both kind of equally, even though I would prefer the fun offense that Ben Johnson has to offer.
Yeah, like McCarthy, if he can hook up with Jerry Jones, he can definitely manage Kevin Warren and Ryan Poles and McCaskey and whatever that bullshit will happen. Plus, like, again, I think like what Super Bowl winning head coach will go to fucking Jerry Jones and work with him, right? I feel like he's kind of like, I don't know, he's up for a challenge. He's like kind of like ego-less kind of a person. He'll work with other coaches that like Kellen Moore, he worked with them and stuff like that. So kind of see him being open to new things, and like Miller said, maybe like, you know, working with Caleb, whatever that needs.
So
So
back to my question, what do you guys think?
I think on that list, I'll be happy with any top three. I don't want Pete Carroll. Brian Flores is.
You want Cliff Kingsbury?
I'll be okay with him, like with what he has done with.
I will just feel. I'll have my stomach will flip.
I don't know.
You're sitting here. Ryan Poles made the decision last year to fucking get Shane Waldron and to send Cliff Kingsbury to the fucking Commanders, and then this year he's gonna hire him as head coach. Jesus Christ, my stomach will flip, and I'll be leading the marches to Hallis Hall saying fire Poles, because that would be the fucking most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
Fair, but Kingsbury was coming from like failed Arizona Cardinals project at that time, and now he worked with a young quarterback and made him like before that. Kingsbury was working with Patrick Mahomes and Kyler Murray, right? Like in college before. And then he came to the NFL, bombed. It was not as successful. Then like that was a trend before. Now he's done it with Jaden Daniels. Maybe that's like Dan Quinn, but like I don't know. It's working.
No, I'm not taking anything away from Cliff Kingsbury. Don't get me wrong. I'm focusing clearly on our GM, who made the decision that Cliff Kingsbury wasn't the guy for offensive coordinator last year. And now he's going to turn around after he's successful in Washington and say, come here, bud, let's do a head coaching gig. Like, it's just, that would be so Bears. That and a Brian Flores reunion would be so Bears.
Chris, what do you got?
So I'm going to take this a different route. Because I wanted to ask you guys, I knew we were going to get this question. I wanted to ask you guys, the coach that's coming in, what is the contract looking like?
4 or 5 years.
Okay. Ben Johnson, what did Vrabel made like 15 or 20, right? So Ben
years?
Johnson is probably going to be making 15 to 20. Okay. Mike McCarthy was on a 10-year deal or $10 million a year down there. So my guess is probably be 12.
12 or 14, something like that, right?
Sure.
So for the Bears to possibly get Johnson, you'll probably have to overpay and then do years. But with what Miller said, it's probably not true. You probably won't have to overpay for McCarthy if there's mutual interest. But then it comes to how long of an extension Poles gets with the head coach. So for me, I think if you're Poles, you're going to want to make a splash of some kind. I would not be surprised if Freeman gets the call from Notre Dame.
I don't. That's just. I think that's just.
I wouldn't be surprised because at the end of the day, it's like you're essentially getting a coach that's going to give you the extension of your Poles. I think
Why?
Because you're going to be tied. All three are going to be tied at that point.
Why do you think that? I've gone off of that boat.
You gotten off that boat?
Yeah.
So the reason is that let's say Poles has 2 years left on his deal. We don't know the full.
You think? Okay, well, don't use 2 years. Use 1 year because that's the speculation.
Okay, so let's say he has 1 year with.
This
Poles.
is his last year.
This is his last year. You're not gonna want to sign a head coach for 5 or 6 years.
No, it's definitely not going to be 5 or 6.
Right.
It could be 5. It could be 4 or 5.
It could be 4 or 5 or 3 with the option.
Also, that's not his
with a lot of money
call,
up front.
right? Like if they're signing a Ben Johnson, he doesn't.
If you're signing a Ben Johnson, here's the thing. But this is what I was trying to say before. I think if you're Ben Johnson, you're going to want the Bears to overpay you in the least amount of years. So you're going to want a 3-4 year deal with a lot of money up front.
Chris, you're so thinking like short term. These guys just want their money in the league.
Yes.
No, these guys want time.
Yeah, they want long term.
They want long term security.
They want long term.
These
but
guys
as soon as
all
that next
think.
GM...
These guys all think that they're the best. They think that they can turn any team around and they can win Super Bowls, and they want to be the one leading the charge. So they don't want a 3-year deal because a lot of times teams don't turn around in 3 years. These guys want long term with
security.
The same amount of money. So they want 4 or 5 minimum.
Listen,
if you're
there
getting
are teams
a top
that have
head
shown
coach.
that can turn it around in less than 2 years.
Yeah, sure.
So,
I'm not gonna sit here and dispute you. You're right.
So,
but the bottom line is these guys don't want short-term contracts. They want long-term.
I'm saying from Chicago standpoint, because we don't know where Poles is at, and we don't know if the next GM is going to want to keep the coach. So you're probably going to want the Bears to overpay for a head coach. You'll probably want to do a 3-4 year deal with a ton of money up front. But with Freeman, you at least get the luxury of saying we have to build with him.
And you don't give money up front to coaches. This isn't. It's not salary cap.
Again, the Bears' job is not the best one that's out there. And
okay, you can say that. Every other source says it is at this point.
It still was the Raiders.
Every other source is saying that the Bears are the best job out there right now.
That is not true.
Patriots were number 1. They are not.
So you can't say that the fucking Bears were the best if the Patriots were.
I said right now. I said right now.
Knew Vrabel.
I said right now.
Right now, you're saying it's better than Raiders?
150%.
Have you been following the chat?
The only other argument that's out there right now is the Jaguars. And I don't think it's a good job because of the GM situation.
I agree.
The Raiders have no talent on their team. They don't have a quarterback. They only have Brock Bowers and I would argue Max Crosby. Other than that, they have very limited talent. So going there is going to be a fucking climb. Now you have Tom Brady, who's the owner, which leads, and you have a GM opening, which could possibly lead to more. But the position itself is not good. The Jaguars at least have their quote unquote quarterback. And the Bears are the best because they have their quarterback on a rookie deal. That's why we're the best position. You can argue semantics with the ownership and whatever, but
I think I wouldn't be surprised if Freeman gets the deal, and then
I don't even think it's going to be.
Is the second?
He's not even coming out, dude.
He's made it pretty clear that he's staying, and you're not going to be able to talk to him till what?
Harbaugh said the same shit that he wasn't leaving Michigan, and he fucking got him. So
I mean, Harbaugh played his hand like he did that for 3 years.
But you can't. He said he wasn't going to leave. He literally said he's not.
And then he left after he won the national championship.
Yeah. I mean,
but you're not going to be able to talk to Freeman until what? When's the national championship?
Monday.
So I don't know. I don't think that's the reason I've gotten off the Poles bandwagon. It's hard to explain in the sense like, how are you going to tell this to Ben Johnson.
That's
but
what I'm
like,
saying.
But like, if
Chris,
you have a coach that you want to bring in your own guy, you could always make him assistant GM or something like that, and then Poles gets canned after next year if shit doesn't turn out, and then you just have his guy go into it, and then you have.
I think
Also,
even
I
our
think-
assistant GM is going for our GM positions too. So like even that is not surprising.
I mean,
But
like
what
I
I'm-
think that's our plan. If we keep him, he's going to be our GM next cycle. I think, but
But this is what I'm
but-
saying, and I think either I'm not explaining myself or you guys are missing the point.
no.
What I'm-
Can I say this? Like, I think we are looking at it like someone has to mind the shop. I think like we are saying everyone has to go, everyone has to come in. But like if you look at leadership, if you look at the ownership, that's probably bad for them. If they have to clean house, that means something went awfully wrong, right? If in their best day they would win Super Bowls, but even in their worst day, they probably want to be like, okay, the coach didn't work out. The GM, let's get a new coach. Okay, the GM didn't work out. Let's get a new GM. In their head, I think like having some sort of continuity, whether at least a GM is continuing on, a coach is continuing on, or the quarterback is continuing on, is good. That's why these cycles happen. In their head, they're not saying like in 3 years we'll have to clean house, or in 2 years. They don't think like you cannot think like that if you're running a team. You have to think about
But
like,
that I understand your point, but that point that you just I gotta backtrack. I'm not 100% sure, but I believe Washington did a full sweep and they were able to make the
they
playoffs
had
in 2
to, right?
years.
They
But
were
that's
like
what I'm saying. But you can't
they were
say
okay. Hang on.
You're using
Washington-
exceptions
Washington-
rather than rules.
Washington was the worst situation. The owner got pushed out. There were like cultural issues. The stadium was voted the worst. There was like 30 things wrong with that team, right? Like it was like a good storm at the end of the day, but like that's literally is like NFL's and the owner's worst nightmare is when you have to like literally clean house.
but you
and
could
bring
look
new-
at Tampa. You could look at fucking
Tampa?
Houston. You could look at all these teams
What
that
did
have,
Tampa do?
they essentially didn't
They
make the
kept-
playoffs
they-
and then
They've
they made
had
it the
Tom
last
Brady.
two.
They won the Super Bowl.
No,
And
they
then
had
they
the
didn't
same
make
coach.
the playoffs for 2
No, no.
years, and then
Then
they
they
made it
won the
following
playoffs
two.
under Brady, and then they brought in Baker.
They-
They have one
They've
year
had the
off,
same
and then they brought
They've
in
had
Baker.
the same coach. They've had the same coach this whole time. And I think one of the ex-coaches.
I thought the
is
GM
actually-
left for Tampa.
Maybe, but they still have Todd Bowles. He's right.
Like they haven't gone anywhere.
Houston just brought in a brand new coach. I mean, it is what it is. I just think that there is leniency when it comes to if you bring in a top tier coach like Ben Johnson. I don't think that any GM that you're going to bring in is going to immediately say you're gone. I'm bringing in my own guy.
But that's
I
what I'm
think-
saying. Right now, Poles is essentially a lame duck to the point where we're not entirely sure what's going to happen with him after this head coach.
It's not a
job.
lame duck because he's still making decisions.
Whatever. We don't know what's happening with him after this year.
like his head is on the line. If he fucks up another
That's
year,
what I'm saying.
he's
So
gone.
if you're a head coach, you know that is happening. That is a potential when you're coming into interview.
But like Chris,
so if
for
you
the
are,
head
but hold
coach,
on, let me finish.
No,
Let me
no.
finish. Well, and so what I'm saying is, if you're a head coach, you're Mike McCarthy, you're these big names that is coming in to talk. You know you're going to want either a lot of money up front, if you're going to get a big contract up front, or you're going to know that this guy is not going to make it to the point where your contract is irrelevant, and they're going to fire you if they decide to bring in a GM.
Okay,
That
not
is in the mindset,
necessarily
but that's in the
true.
mindset of every coach that's being
Chris,
interviewed.
let me ask you this, okay? You go in for an interview, right?
Yeah.
Let's say your manager is in a 1-year contract, or like is like is on the way out.
Yeah.
That does not bear like you are having an interview. They're asking you questions, you're answering like what their tenure is and what happens to them. Yes, it's relevant, but I don't think it's the most pressing thing. If
How can you
McCarthy-
say it's relevant but not the pressing thing?
Like,
Because a GM is most likely going to give the coach the benefit of the doubt when he's either one, the hottest coach on the market, or two, a proven commodity. Mike McCarthy and Ben Johnson fit that. The GM is going to, if
the GM
Poles
is not
gets fired, the GM
Right.
isn't going to come in and say, okay, bye-bye, you're done.
right. But you
It's not gonna
won't
happen
live
in
out
1
the
year.
But if you're not successful, this is the
If you're not
assumption that
successful,
if
then
they're
that's
not
a
successful,
completely
everyone's
different
gone.
story.
Right. So
Like,
that's what I'm saying.
2 years
have-
after you hire the GM, if the guy sucks over the 2 years,
3 years.
3 years,
Yeah,
he's gonna be
that's-
gone. I agree
that's
with
my
you
point.
there.
Right.
But
So if you're a coach and you know that that's a possibility, you're going to want to either get overpaid big money, less contract
But
years
Ben,
or whatever.
but that's not how these guys think, Chris.
Yeah.
They don't think they're gonna fucking bomb. Ben Johnson isn't coming in saying, so what I think we can do is we're gonna tank this year, and then the next year we'll win 4 games, and the next year we're gonna win 6 games. That's not how these guys think.
What I'm
They
saying,
don't think they're gonna fail. They think they're gonna succeed.
Miller,
They're gonna kill
the
it.
part that everyone seems to be missing, and this is the part that's annoying me, is that we're making the assumption that the Bears are a good team. They are not a good team.
I
Yeah,
disagree with you.
I don't think that matters to the players and the coach as much as you think it does.
Oh my God, what do you mean it doesn't?
Like they play their game. They have a game plan. They don't even I don't know what a good team. Like they will play
Ruben,
their hardest.
do you know how much? Well, never mind. Because I feel like you guys can't say that this is a good team.
I think I'm not going to sit here and say it's a good team, but I don't think it's a bad
That's
team.
what I'm saying.
I think
But
it's an average
not a good team to be able to say that. If the team falters in 1 year,
Chris,
and
what head coach is coming
can't even
into
finish
a
my
good
thought.
team? Sorry, what head coach is coming to a good team? Like if they're the fucking good team, they will not get a new head coach.
what do you mean? Vrabel, the Patriots are a better outlook than any other.
But like
They're
they,
still
have
not
their
a good
quarterback.
team.
they
They're
are
still not a
picking
good
number
team.
2 in the whole fucking draft. You
Yeah.
think they're one of the worst rosters in the whole league?
Yeah,
last year.
and we all agreed that the coach that they hired was not the best coach.
No, I didn't.
That's
I
because
thought
you're an idiot.
I thought Vrabel was good.
But like
No,
no,
the
no
Mayo.
coach is coming
Well,
in.
I didn't care
Chris,
about Mayo. We never talked about Mayo.
We did.
Like-
we said that there was no.
Well, I
point of
didn't have an
hiring
opinion
him.
because I didn't fucking. I
What I'm
don't
saying-
think I would have
so
said
wait.
that.
So wait, Boopin, you're telling me that New England right now next year does not have a chance of having either a better record or possibly making the playoffs?
Oh my God, they're like they won 2 or 3 games. Of course, they have a chance
Chris,
of making
my
a
point was
better record.
a coach is not coming to a good team.
Are you kidding me? Miller says that the Bears
an
are a great team
example.
because of Caleb. You're telling me that
I didn't say great
Patriots are
team.
not.
Give me an example.
May is not a good team.
No,
not
I'm
a good
talking
aspect.
Boopin's question. A
Give you
coach
what?
that comes to a good team.
Like
A
a
coach
good
that-
team, yeah.
There's some out there.
There
Like
is
you can
some out
argue
there.
that you can argue the
The-
Cowboys at this point, but like
That's a
No,
stretch.
I was going to
Like,
say the
realistically-
Lovey team that went 10-6 is probably the only team that like probably.
Oh, you're such a homer. No, that's not true. I disagree with that.
but he's right. Typically, if you're firing your coach, you're firing it because they've underachieved. You're not
10-6
firing them because they've overachieved.
Okay, 10-6 was not underachieving, and also everyone said that Lovey should have at least gotten one more year.
You're
Well, let's
agreeing
not-
with him.
Let's not even go with that.
That's
point.
literally what
Well,
Buka
like,
just said. So you're agreeing with
You are
him.
helping me.
No, but
like-
I'm not using the argument that fucking a 10-6 coach leaving and then the coach that they brought in after was a good coach. That was
We're not saying he's not saying he's a good coach. He's saying he's going to a good team. That's
the Bears were
literally
not a
what
good
you're
team
arguing.
afterwards.
Oh my God.
I mean, we have the benefit of hindsight, right? Okay, what are all the teams that are hiring
Give me a
coaches
second.
right now?
I'll look that up.
The discussion was the
Look at the
fact that
records.
you
Look at the
were
records.
you
I'm
were
not gonna look at the
saying that
records
these
'cause the
guys
records are irrelevant.
think that they're fucking going to lose the next 3 years when that's not the case. But you
All right,
think
Miller.
that their coaches don't.
All right, but we're moving
Can we
on.
move on?
Okay, I will give you full reins on the agenda. Where you want to go next, please?
Okay, so the one thing, since we never really got to it because we went down a landslide, with McCarthy that we should all think about over these coming days is the Rooney Rule. So as we know, with the Rooney Rule in the NFL, teams are required to have in 2 external minority candidates in the building. So it can't be a Zoom interview and it can't be Thomas Brown. They have to be in the building. So as of right now, the only one that applies here is Ron Rivera. So we cannot hire Mike McCarthy until we have another candidate. So my guess is, I think
Brian
we're interviewing Brian Flores on Saturday. They'll probably bring him in so that way they meet the Rooney Rule and they'll comply. That would be my guess. But if they do decide to do something sooner, then you might want to look out for a contract for Mike McCarthy, especially given the news on Ben Johnson. Just something to think about over these next few games because it is on the horizon.
Also,
Now-
I heard, sorry, Miller, cut you off, but like hiring coaches early is like supposedly a good deal. That's why like New England and Brave happen. Is you get your pick of the litter, like the OCs and stuff like that. You get to pick who you want, and then like the teams hiring later on are basically left with the scraps. So like that's another reason why
I don't
hiring
think that's
McCarthy
true.
now.
I don't
I
think
mean,
that's true.
it's literally like they will be gone. So I don't know how you think it's not true, but
Recording has stopped. Awesome.
And he left. Yeah, I don't think that's true.
I mean, like, how do you think that there's like 14 candidates? Like, 2 of them will go to the first team. Like, Brave already hired his OC and DC.
God damn it! Now I'm on the left again.
Okay, Miller, you were saying something before you got cut off.
So I think that's been overblown because I think a lot of these guys already have an idea who their OC and DC is going to be.
Correct.
So I think it is overblown. Like Vrabel isn't going to be talking to the same OC and DC that Ben Johnson is. Like typically these guys have their trees, if you will, that they're going to bring in. So I do think that's overblown a bit, but there are benefits of bringing a guy in early because you have the Senior Bowl that's coming up, you have all that. But the assistants, it is a thing. I think it's just a little bit overblown. So that's just something to think about with McCarthy. The next thing that Chris is going to love us talking about that I just wanted to take a second to just focus on is the stadium. Oh yeah, stadium talk.
We are breaking out in 2025.
Obviously, this offseason, the focus has been on the offense, right? We're talking about most of the candidates in the pool are offensive guys, whether it's Mike McCarthy, whether it's Ben Johnson, whether it's Liam Cohen. A lot of these guys are offensive. So my question to y'all is, why hasn't there been more movement as far as the stadium is concerned? Because let's look at the facts. The Lions have been very good this year. Their offense has been top 2, 3 in the league. They've played 17 indoor. They will play 17 indoor games if they make the Super Bowl. That would be 3 games outdoors. Indoor play allows for better offenses. I don't have the stats to prove it, but I would argue it to a fault. The lack of an
the stats to prove it.
The lack of an environment allows for a better offensive product.
So Buffalo.
So
that's not. Yeah, no one cares.
No, how did that snow game go?
But they were very cold and they scored 31 points, but no one cares. Go ahead.
But my thought would be at this point, if we're really going to focus on an offensive head coach, you would think they would want to get the shovel in the ground and get this started so we can have a dome. So I'm just curious why. Obviously, there's a lot of intricacies, but you would think that since we're bringing in a new coach, trying to be offensive, why don't we get a dome?
I mean, I think that's the plan. I think like I got in my head they're looking to make a splash with this coaching hire because they fucking sell out. The ticket prices are gonna go even higher, and they're gonna fucking start building. Suppose Warren said they are still looking to break ground before the end of the year this year. So I think it's happening. I think it's like it's in the cards.
The only reason that a dome would make sense is because it gives opportunities for other events to come to Chicago.
Well, it's going to be a dome. Both of them are domes. Well,
right. But what I'm saying is
the one downtown is
right. But the only benefit of having the dome is not for the team. It's because we want to be.
I think you're completely wrong.
We want to host NCAA tournaments. We want to host.
Well, I mean, you're right in that sense, but
yeah. So again, that's relevant. And also
they're making it a dome to make it a better experience too.
Well, that's irrelevant. No one cares what the fans think. But if you look at Buffalo, Buffalo had a chance to have a dome. They also wanted to have a Super Bowl, and they're like, you know what? No, we don't want that. We want the environment to be a part of the game. We're not.
I mean, Buffalo and Green Bay are like probably even Chicago in there is like historically that, right? I don't think Packers are ever getting a dome. I think like same thing with the Bills. Like I think it's like it's
no. The Bills are going to have their new stadium next year. Like it's going to be done next year.
And it's not a dome, right?
It's not a dome.
Isn't that crazy considering the amount of snow that they've had?
But that's what I'm saying. It's like this whole thing about making a splash, and then like the Bears are going to sell out their tickets all the time. They always do. They always find a way to sell out their tickets. So just because you get a coach,
have you seen the attendance the last few games this year?
I mean, the tickets sell out, Miller.
The tickets sell out. Like for the Bears to sell out, like they're gonna sell out their tickets,
And I think
whether they show up or not is
no.
irrelevant.
If I remember correctly, the ticket prices went up this year after they
Ticket prices
drafted
did go
Caleb. Yeah, so like I think they're gonna make a big splash again, and then ticket prices are gonna go up again.
See, I don't see. What do you mean big splash? McCarthy's
Like,
not really a big splash.
like
though.
Johnson is
Johnson
McCarthy
is not
is.
coming to Chicago. Like people just need to get that out of there. He is not coming to Chicago. Like
Bet.
it's not going to happen.
bet.
What do you want to bet?
I don't know. What do you want to bet?
Drink bet. Chug bet. He can't chug. Yes, you can drink beer. Chug
I
bet.
can drink. I want you to chug a beer.
I
and
have
I
like-
to say that I was right.
I
You
have
think Ben
3
Johnson
chug
is still
bets.
coming to Chicago? Like,
We
as
are
of
the
right now.
best. We are the best.
We are not the
situation.
best. It's been shown that we are not the best because if we were the best, he would have already been with us, or we would have
No.
seen
That's
reports. coming to
completely
Chicago.
wrong because it's not even possible because he's not going to join a team not coming into the Highhouse Hall.
Sources would have been like, he is so excited to come to Chicago because Caleb is amazing and plays Marvel Rivals and wants to play with him that we can't wait to have him here. So as soon
This
as
just
he-
in.
yeah, like that's what I'm saying. Like
Ben Johnson and
Sources-
Caleb Williams played Marvel Rivals together. No tampering though.
no tampering though. But that's what I'm saying. Like,
you guys are fucking conspiracy theory with this
How are-
tampering.
can I give you an example of
No,
like?
you're just in
I'm gonna-
denial.
I'm
What
like-
happens in the real world?
Listen, look at what's happening with Jimmy Butler too. There was reports that he had requested a trade. The Heat came out and said no. His agent came out and said no. And they were like, no, he did request a trade. You know what happened like 3 days later? Jimmy Butler came out and said, yeah, I requested a fucking trade. So
Right.
like when people are saying like the sources want these players, as much as you want to disagree with it, as of right now, there has not been a source to
I mean-
say Ben Johnson cannot wait to come
Dude,
to
Ben
Chicago.
Johnson's
that
the
is
belle of
not
the ball.
happening.
As of right
Like-
now, there has been no source that said that Ben Johnson wants to go to
To the Raiders.
Oakland.
Right.
But
There's
Ben,
not.
Ben
There's no-
Johnson
they're
is
just
the belle of
saying-
the
Of
ball.
course. Miller, the reason that he doesn't want to go to Oakland is because there's no football team in Oakland. You
Vegas.
fucking idiot.
They
No,
have
no.
not said that
Chris.
he is going to Vegas or wants to go to Vegas. It's all speculation, and
It's all
know.
he
speculation
said
that that's
that
his number
it's
one
moving
choice.
in that direction.
Again,
That is his
maybe,
number one
maybe,
choice.
Maybe,
No,
maybe I'm,
you're speculating. You're not. That's not factual.
Everything
maybe
is
I am.
speculation.
Maybe
so don't
I'm
say
being
that it's his number one choice because it doesn't mean it is.
Maybe I'm being conspiracy theories, but I think all this Raiders stock is the Bears paying more.
That's literally what I.
He kind of talked about contracts before. Moving on. Okay, since the stadium question wasn't fun for Chris, let's
No.
focus back in on the Bears and the Bears team in general and jump over
Yeah,
some
but-
questions here. So obviously the season is over, and that leaves us with 2 situations here. We have a team of 53 people that we need to put together, and we also have some players that are no longer under contract. So let's run through a few and let me know if you want to keep them. Do you want to sign them to an extension, or do you want to let them walk? First and foremost,
Walk. Oh, sorry.
Keenan Allen.
You mean second half MVP Keenan Allen?
Keenan Allen.
On the cheap, keep. If not, walk.
He's not.
What's the
gonna be
definition of cheap?
Cheap. He's not going to be cheap.
What was he making now
20 mil.
for 1 year?
Yeah,
I don't think it's. Remember, we traded for him.
And it was a
pretty sure-
20. Yeah, like I don't know. 12
I think it was
million?
17.
Like 12, 10 million.
Like I think like
He made
I-
18 this year.
Yeah,
I
12
don't-
million.
I think he's good for Caleb. I think he's good for the team, but I don't know if we need him, Rome, DJ, and Cole Kmet. So I think,
Brother, it's not about need. We have them all, and we didn't even use them all, so it's irrelevant at this point.
but he was solid second half of the year. So
So
like,
Chris wants to keep him.
I'd
What do
keep
you
him on the
want?
cheap.
No, you want to keep him. That's the way it's said. Boopin, what do you want?
get rid of him. I want to see Rome flourish.
I want him gone too. Like I said at the very beginning, even though I don't get any credit for it, Keenan Allen was the safety valve for Caleb Williams.
So you guys
Cole
wanna get
Kmet
rid
did
of the
not.
safety valve.
Cole Kmet did
Because
not
he
have an
doesn't need one.
impact.
He
I
doesn't
want
need
Cole
one.
Kmet to have more of an impact if I'm going to pay him $12 million a year. I don't need a guy that puts up 0 or 1 catch a game. So I want him more involved. I want Rome more involved, and I want DJ more involved. Keenan Allen, bye-bye.
Question. So you both are saying get rid of your safety valve.
Correct, because I think Cole Kmet can be
we
that
don't
safety
need
valve.
one. We don't need one. We are like pew pew baby. No fucking safety valve. Let's go.
Like you said from the very beginning, typically young quarterbacks rely on their tight ends. When you bring in a veteran receiver like Keenan Allen, he takes that spot. So why'd you pay fucking Cole Kmet, $12 million. Next, Daryl Taylor, our defensive end, and I know Chris has no idea who that is but he's had 20 tackles and 3 sacks and 2 forced fumbles.
Yep, no one cares. Adios. Thank you for your service.
I think if Flus was here, maybe he come back, but like with Flus gone, not a big impact. 6th-round trade. I feel like he's gone. Right?
I hate to
We
ruin your
traded
guys',
a 6th-round pick for him.
I hate to ruin your guys' bubble, but I
Fucking
feel like we're
Christ.
doing this wrong. We should have done this when the new coaches gets announced.
Why?
I mean, it doesn't matter. They are free agents anyway.
Free agents.
Well,
We just our fucking opinions. Jesus Christ.
How much did he make last
okay.
year? Just curious.
I don't
No
know.
one
I
cares.
didn't fucking look that up. Next,
I think it was very cheap. That's what I was going to say.
Coleman Shelton, our center. He was 19 out of 64 centers in the league. Better pass blocker than a run blocker. Chris,
Adios.
I think we'll keep him.
Keep.
I think we'll sign him to a deal. I don't.
If we get a new guy, great. But keep him.
I don't see the Bears replacing 4 offensive linemen in one season. And I think he's, like I mentioned, he's the average to a fucking T. He is not going to be better than 19th or 15th in the league at center. So he's going to be right around that 15 to 19 to 20 range. It's going to be average. It's going to be not the greatest, but I think he's serviceable for one more year.
Yeah. And then whoever comes in, if he outplays him, fucking keep him. Cut him next year.
Yeah, I think he'll be like a 1 or 2 year deal. Yeah. Tevin Jenkins, our left guard, 18th out of 135 guards in the league. Health continues to be an issue.
Cares about those rankings. Jesus fucking.
It's just a basis point, dude.
Dude, 18 out of 135?
Go. What do you want?
I think the other, like last year, guards got paid, okay? The guards were making money last year. Looking into that, I feel like those are numbers. I think his health is a bigger concern for me than like those numbers. I feel like when he's healthy, he's a fucking mauler. I want him protecting Caleb. I want him on the team. But his health is a major concern for him. But if he new regime, keep him.
I think this is probably one where we can all agree. If the money is right, sign him.
Bye-bye.
I don't think
I don't
the money's
agree.
right. I think
You don't agree?
Bye-bye.
He wants to get paid because guards got
But that's
paid.
right.
for
That's
last
and
year.
I knew.
Okay, I'm not going to talk hypothetical $3 million deals. If
No,
he's
but
going to
that's what I'm
make
saying.
average to above average guard money, bye-bye.
Yeah, I agree. That's
I
a
don't.
great
His
way of
health
saying
is
that.
too
That's a
big of
great
an
way
issue.
for an
And on
average
top of
contract.
that-
Yeah.
And on top of that, he's had a lot of issues with Ryan Poles since he came here because Ryan Poles, there was that friction at the beginning. I don't really know why, but there was that friction. So I
Probably
think he's
lame
done
duck
with
friction, you know.
probably.
Wait. I honestly, the only reason we keep him is the other guard. I think is the bigger need for us. So if we draft other need, if we cannot, then he stays on the team. I think, but that's.
I mean, you're right. There's always the possibility we draft a left tackle and then we sign a guard and we just call it a day. But I think Tevin's gone. I think it's more on him not wanting to come back than it is on us wanting to keep him, to be honest.
Yeah, and I
can
think we're
also-
not going to overpay for him. I think we can overpay for other people.
We
need to overpay for somebody, but
Yeah, but
not
not him.
him at his
Right.
position.
Right.
I can see some team fucking making him work too. He's such a good.
When he's healthy, like you said. Our linebacker, Jack Sanborn.
How dare you? Ben's gonna
He's a
kill you.
restricted free agent. He was 93rd out of 189 linebackers, 19 tackles and 2 sacks.
Wait, what-
Restricted?
What?
Yeah.
What's his nickname? What does Ben call him? Something. He's
White lightning. I don't fucking know.
I don't know.
Damn, restricteds are always tough because
I think he's gone. He may be
I
a
think-
special teams player.
I don't think he was an everyday linebacker with us, was he?
I don't think
He
so.
used to be, but I don't think he was this year. I
You
don't
know,
remember
I would-
seeing him that much.
I would
he's
say
he's a third linebacker, isn't he? He's,
That's what I thought, but I hadn't seen him that much this year.
you know what?
Like
I'll say
last
this.
year, he
I'll-
was flying around.
I'll say this. I think if an offer is made and it makes sense, the Bears keep him.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I think I wouldn't mind keeping him. Because he's going to be cheap. He's going to be a linebacker.
I feel like
Okay,
restricted at contracts are so like hit or miss though.
Also, like linebackers, like I don't think get paid as much. So like maybe we'll keep them.
Funny enough, the only reason I feel that way about restricted contracts is because the NBA turned me off on those. The NBA was always big on overpaying the restricted contracts.
Yeah. Okay, great. Moving on. Surprise cuts. Who are the guys that are no longer going to be with us?
I said Santos is gone.
Cairo Santos.
I like the man, but we need someone that can kick 50-yarders.
I think he's actually going to be here, but I could.
too.
Wait, what does he get paid? Like 10 million? Less than that? 8 million? 5 million?
Probably cheap. Did you know that he had a better percentage over 50 yards than he did in 40?
Really?
Yeah, I told you that.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
Fucking lie.
That's why he
You didn't
kicks. That's the whole kicking low thing.
Oh, wait. Hang on.
That was when we were talking about.
No.
You're really all over.
I get it.
Oh.
He is so bad that they don't let him kick 50. That's why.
They would let him kick 50s over 40. That's what I had mentioned.
Yeah.
Fucking fucked up again, didn't it?
Yeah,
Yep.
we can't hear you. Thank God we can't hear you because you've been wrong all fucking night. All right. Are we
All
done
right.
with his surprise cuts?
Yeah.
Actually, I don't know.
There's a couple other names. Do you think Bates, Owens, Byard, any of those people make a cut?
Bates didn't really do anything this year, though, did
No,
he?
Why do we use this fucking system?
Hey, don't shit on the system while we're live. How dare you?
Okay, Santos was making 4.2 this year.
I would keep Santos one more year. I wouldn't
I don't
cut
know.
him.
I
It's
think
too many.
I think we need an upgrade in that position. Someone solid. I think like rest of the team we are like upgrading. I think that's a position we need to be. Solid.
We have too many open holes, in my opinion, to waste the time on a kicker that is proven to be pretty good within 45 yards. Notice I said 45. Next one, the only one that I want to talk about, Ryan Bates.
He gone.
You think he's gonna get cut?
Fuck him.
I don't think Poles does it. He was ranked 72nd out of 135, which I'm assuming guards. Not
I
very good.
I think that's
$4
our
million a
biggest need.
year. We traded a fucking third round for him. I think he's gonna keep him. Even though he saves us some money, I think we're gonna keep him. I don't see him turning his back on that deal because Ryan
Is it a
Poles doesn't
team-
want to admit things that are wrong, or he doesn't want to admit faults at this point because the job's on the line.
Miller,
I don't think he's gonna start. I think he's gonna be a backup. But
is it a team extension or player?
I'm just saying these are guys that are projected to possibly get cut.
What's his remaining contract?
$4 million.
No, you keep him.
Yeah, guard. But that's our biggest need. That guard position, not Jenkins.
Yeah. And then Kevin Byard. Did we talk about him? Making $7 million this year at safety. I don't think you can get rid of him. I think he's been too much of a leader, to be honest with you.
I
And
think
like-
the defensive coordinator will probably have a say on that because defenses are kind of iffy.
Yeah, you
with
could be
their-
right.
With their
We
back
also
line.
bring like these kind of guys every year, don't we? Like I feel like we.
Yeah, but
pay
it
someone-
depends because it
5,
depends on what the
7 years.
You
defense is
don't-
playing.
You don't necessarily bring in Pro Bowl caliber safeties every year.
Yeah, and not only that, if it depends on like how often the defensive coordinator likes to rotate his players and shit like that. So
Yeah, he was solid. Like good guy.
All
I
right.
wouldn't be surprised if he got cut because of the defensive coordinators changing.
$7 million's a lot, and but with Jaquan Brisker's health and that shit, I don't know. Any extensions? Guys up for extensions this year include Kyler Gordon, Jaquan Brisker, Braxton Jones, TJ Edwards.
I mean,
What was it,
if we-
Edwards? Give me a background on Edwards.
TJ Edwards is our off linebacker. His overall PFF grade that you love was 61.4, 103rd out of 189. He gets a lot of tackles. He sometimes struggles with run defense and also
I think he
coverage.
was serviceable this year, if I remember right.
he was criticized a lot this year. I think.
If I'm being honest, I think Tremaine Edmonds is the bigger weakness in the linebacking core than TJ Edwards. I think TJ Edwards does what he needs to do. I don't know that you make an extension. I think a lot, to Chris's point, depends on the defensive coordinator that you're going to bring in. So I think someone like that may not get an extension, specifically on the defensive side of the ball, because they don't know these players. So a lot of these guys may not.
Also, like linebackers usually are not paid this high. I think one
I
of them is paid pretty high.
If I
think
remember
so.
right, most of the linebackers are key like franchise tags too. Like
Yeah, because
they're-
it's
they're
usually
pretty
cheaper to. Yeah.
I,
So
I
I
mean,
could-
like, okay, like let's get this out of the way. Braxton Jones, like, fucking deserves. He was more than above average. He has been solid for a 5th-round pick. What he's done at tackle, I feel he's like above average, and I think we need to
You don't
extend that man.
think he's above average.
He's ranked 20th in out of 141st.
That doesn't mean you're above average.
20th out of 140.
There's only 32 teams.
That's 10. That's still above average.
I don't.
Listen, I'm taking math
mean-
class this semester. I don't necessarily.
I don't know. I mean, he
Dude, he's like
didn't play that well. Like he had his moments, but
Here's
he
the-
also. I don't.
Here's the thing.
I don't.
Here's the thing, and this is kind of like
I don't
I
think.
feel like. Hold on, Miller. Let me just say this because I think we'll all agree. I think this season the work rate that we saw as a whole, given the team status and how they performed, is not necessarily the best to go off of. The question should be is do we see these guys improving upon what they did this year? And I think a majority of what we see with the people with the extensions is the opportunity is there. Will they take advantage of it? Probably not, given that a new defensive coordinator is coming in.
well, this is offensive, but
Oh,
I don't. I don't
I still
see.
stand by that statement though.
I don't see a lot of improvement from Braxton. I think he still has the same weaknesses that he has coming in. And I just think that the Bears realize that they need to get an upgrade at left tackle. I don't see him getting an extension. I think he's going to be a swing tackle, which is probably the position that he's probably best fit for. And that's going to be what it is. So unless he's taking a lot less money, which I doubt, I think he probably wants to go to the open market. So I don't think an extension hits for him.
I don't know. Like
Boopin, I want to preface this. Right now. If it was up to you, it would have been Braxton Jones, Tevin Jenkins, Coleman Shelton, a new guard, and Darnell Wright.
yeah,
You're nuts.
like those people. Yes, as a unit we played horrible, but those people, I think like with the right combination, right coaching staff, I feel like there's something there. And if you think you gotta replace the center, replace Tevin Jenkins, get a new guard, replace your left tackle in 1 year, you are fucking smoking something, my man.
But you
We
can
need
say
to-
that about any player.
I
though.
don't think it's.
No,
I
you
don't think
can't.
it's.
I think you keep people that are above average. Like, and our center is above average. But like
Our center is not above average. He is
Shut-
average.
okay, average.
He
That's
is
not- he's average.
100% average. That's all
Braxton-
he is.
Okay,
That's all he will
Braxton
be.
Jones is above average.
I don't
Fucking-
think he's above average.
all right, I will
I'm
stop.
sorry.
Why?
And then
Why?
We
is
can
it
get two
that-
new guards. I'm okay with that. But like, I think like our two tackles are probably like you cannot replace all positions, guys. You have
And I
to, like-
understand that, which is why I think Coleman Shelton will be on this team. You can feasibly replace 3 offensive line positions, especially since Poles has done nothing to improve this line group over the last 2 years,
like
besides draft
Two
Darnell
draft-
Wright. But he
two
has
draft-
yet to pay anybody on the offensive line. That is going to come, and that leads me to the next question. What is your biggest positional need going forward?
quarterback.
Miller all of O line.
Honestly,
I do think that guard is the important position, and I do, but I think left tackle is going to take precedent over
I'm
that.
gonna go in a big swing here. It might be a swing and a miss. It might be running back.
Ooh, are you on the Aston Genty train at 10?
I think
That is.
I think we need a running
I
back.
saw a
If-
mock draft with that.
That is nuts.
You don't
But
think
Chris,
we
you
need a-
just paid a running back. Is he not
Yeah.
good? Is he not good? You paid him 10 million or 8 million. Is he not a good running back?
Wasn't it
He's a
7
good
and
running
half?
back, but we need 2 good running backs.
No, we don't. Guard, defensive end, probably like someone.
Yeah, I think a defensive edge. position. You
I'd
you
rather
can't.
Chris
We.
running
I
back
mean,
too.
we did the Taylor the thing that was serviceable, fine. Who's the rookie that we got?
4th round pick. What was his name?
Yeah, he's a swing. My guess is I think we need someone solid opposite right. We'll see if that happens.
I don't know.
I
I,
mean,
think are we talking
Gervon
drafting or are we
Dix-
talking free agency?
No, we'll get to draft. Just biggest
Biggest-
positional need.
Biggest positionally, I think.
I
you
mean,
guys
you're.
just nailed the
I mean,
obvious.
you're fine. Running back is fine. It's a good. It's a good answer. You don't have to
Maybe-
fucking change your hand.
Maybe safety. Replace Byard.
Now here's the question. I need a surprise position that you want to upgrade. So don't say guard because that doesn't count. A surprise.
Quarterback.
Don't say quarterback. You're a jackass. Surprise realistic position. I'm gonna start and I'm going to say kicker.
Yeah, buddy. Get on
I think
board.
Santos is gonna be here, but to Boopin's point, he's not a realistic kicker in this era in the NFL.
Honestly, like all these young guns coming in, you probably don't have to draft him. CFL.
But it's not easy, dude. We literally had a tryout and we brought in the guy from Carolina and then he set the
We-
record for the most accurate kicker in NFL history.
I know
and
we
when he
suck
left.
at that, but like fucking Detroit picked up a guy from CFL. Like, come on.
Jake Bates, yeah.
Yeah, we can like. I don't think we need to draft him, even if it's later in the draft. But anyway, I'm with you. I'm with Chris too. Like a later round running back, someone we want. I know Roshan is there, but like someone probably I don't know. Looks like all the teams are going towards 2 running backs, a pass catching one and like a bruiser. So maybe something like that would be good. Fuck, I would love to see a cornerback, another one.
I'd love to see a defensive end.
That's probably our second biggest need, but yeah.
But I'm like when you say upgrade, we're saying get rid of someone on our team.
Like a
and-
guy that's in his position that's probably not going to be leaving that you think you would want to upgrade over.
running back.
Fucking nose tackle, right? Like he
I
went
don't know.
out-
I think Tremaine Edmonds is also an answer that I was thinking about too.
linebacker, middle linebacker.
Yeah, like we paid him a shit ton of money, and I was vouching from him
Who
at
was
the
our
very
free
beginning,
safety?
but he sucked. Wasn't it Bird, or was it Brisker? Brisker was
I think
I
it
don't
was
know
Brisker.
which one.
I wrote it.
I would probably either go running back or free safety.
We'll see. I'm skipping the draft question because we're over. Go ahead with your shit, Boopin.
All right. I had some fun and I looked through some of our old episodes to come up with some of the records. So, season record. Let's start here. We were all wrong. Miller and I said Bears would go 9-8. Chris was probably closer. Said 8-9. They fucking sucked this season. Win-loss record. We got lazy in week 9. We stopped keeping track of it because Bears kept losing. But at that point, we want to give our flowers. So Miller, with a record of 7-2, he got the win and loss right. Chris is not far behind, 6-3. I was at the end, 5-4. Some of the bold picks we did this season. Let's start with Miller. He got it right that the Cowboys would miss the playoffs. They stunk. But he missed saying Tomlin would lose more than 9 games. Tomlin actually had a pretty decent year.
He won
Chris,
10 games.
But like I think at the last
He lost
5
6
games
in a row or something like
yeah,
that.
5
Four,
games.
four.
Yeah,
Wasn't it 3 or 4? So.
I
he
don't know.
sucked.
Feels like
Chris said Caleb would not win Rookie of the Year, which he was right about. I think I'm pretty sure. He said Jaden or a wide receiver would have a better year.
Ooh,
So
good
Chris
call.
Chris was right about that. Chris missed saying that Justin Fields would be the starter at the end of the year for the Pittsburgh Steelers. When they will have a winning record and have a wild card with a wild card team.
So I
You'll
was
be
2
a
and
s-
3. 2 out of 3.
No, you were not.
Steelers they had a win. They had a winning record and
But
they were wild
you
card.
were saying that they would have a winning record because of
With
Justin
Fields.
Fields.
Right, so, but I was 2
So
out
you
of
were
3.
wrong.
I was
You were
wrong on the
completely
Fields
wrong.
part.
Is
You're
get
wrong
there
on the
for-
main
I feel like
point.
I was right. Keep going though. I feel like I had more rights though.
No, I think this is the last one I found. I couldn't find more. I swear we had more. Looks like as the Bears started losing, the agenda just got lazier and lazier, and
That's
I'm
why we
partly
just
to
don't
blame.
have one.
I know, Chris. That's why none of your stuff is recorded. But here's my promise to you guys.
Wait, don't
Next-
forget, I was right about the trade deadline,
Yeah, he was.
and I was right about Flus getting fired.
I mean-
yeah, he was.
I mean, okay.
You weren't right initially, but yeah, you were right at the end
It
of the
became
day.
right, and
Okay.
again, being right is what matters. So
What was
Because
that?
I
Chuck,
was right about the offensive coordinator being fired.
you were correct.
what was that Chuck bet for today, Chris
I already forgot.
Miller?
Oh,
I
that Johnson
forgot.
was coming to the Bears. Yeah,
Oh,
you're,
yeah.
you're losing that.
There, you lost that.
You're
But yeah, that's the Chuck bet.
All right.
And then two things: Boopin called Lions making the Super Bowl,
Oh, yeah.
and then I called Burrow winning MVP, which sadly it will not happen.
But like, look at the stats. I pulled this up. So Burrow had 4,600 yards, 42 touchdowns.
Was that total yards or is that just passing?
That the
yards?
passing yards? He had 200 more rushing
so
yards.
good, dude.
Lamar had 4,100 passing yards and 900 rushing yards. I get that, but like in terms of yards, completion percentage, like they're very close. So Burrow was up there. If not, like had they had a better record, if they made the playoff, he would genuinely be in the MVP conversation.
Yeah, he would be. Yeah.
Like look, I know Josh had 12 rushing touchdowns, and that kind of like sways the. He only had 28 passing touchdowns. He only had 37 yards. So
It's
like,
crazy that he is projected to win.
yeah,
with
like
these stats.
if you
guys,
like look,
you guys would feel that he deserves it though, over like given
I mean,
given
if you-
the teams and given how they performed.
The
with what's
only
around
argument that I could make is Josh Allen is literally the entire Bills team, and Lamar had a lot more pieces around him that made him
See,
successful.
I agree with that, but I feel that because I think Lamar gets it and deserves it because they finally found him pieces that like made him more successful.
yeah. Plus, I think Lamar has won it 2 years in a row, right, or something like that.
I don't know if he's won 2 years in a row, but this would be his third.
Yeah. So like, I think that's why they'll give it to Allen.
So
But like,
who's
well-
winning it? Boopin?
Allen.
Miller?
I think it's going to be Lamar.
I think it's Lamar too.
But like,
No player that got All Pro has.
one.
No player that didn't win All Pro has won MVP.
Like
That's what it says.
the way in my head I see is like if you remove this player, this team is different. And this year I can say if you remove Allen from the Bills, I think.
No, see,
fucking-
I disagree with that because if you remove Saquon from the Eagles, I don't think they're as successful.
he should be up here. I agree with you.
Yeah.
See, same thing with Panay Sewell. Like it's like doesn't get thrown around the O lineman from the Lions.
No.
He was like being thrown out there. He's allowed like one pressure or something nuts like that.
I mean,
just
he's
like
good, but
like the amount.
one offensive lineman does not make a team. I'm sorry. Like it's the
Same-
collective group.
Are we back here again, running back?
Except if you're running back.
Are we back here again? What a good note. This is a whole argument. We started here, we ended here. Boys, it's been fun. You guys want to say anything before we sign off for the season?
I will probably want a live stream as soon as we find out who the head coach is. As soon as we find out, we try to get together
Done.
and do just a quick 30-minute powwow of Boopin being wrong, and then Miller wishing it was McCarthy, but finding out it was Freeman at the end. I would just love to.
I would do a bet there.
Yeah, Freeman
I
will not
almost want to
leave
do
no
a
doubt.
bet that he won't even get interviewed.
Okay, hold on. Let me preface this. I don't believe Johnson is in play anymore. It's either a coin flip between Kingsbury and Freeman, in my opinion.
McCarthy?
Two
I
guys.
think McCarthy is like, who's he bringing with him is more my concern. That's really my honest concern with.
So you think a guy that's been in college 100% of his career is going to bring in more reputable players than
You'd be
Mike
surprised,
McCarthy?
Yes, you'd be surprised. Yes.
Get the fuck out of here, dude.
You
Don't
don't
be
think that's
talking
true?
about Mike McCarthy and who he's gonna. Your concerns about who he's gonna bring in, and then bring 100% college guy and say, "Oh, the people that he's gonna bring in are gonna be great."
Listen, sometimes the college guys bring in good people.
Yeah, and maybe they can
Yeah.
lose to Northern Illinois again.
Yeah, I
and
don't.
then lose to
I
Northern
remember
Illinois,
Chip
but win a
Kelly's-
natty.
I mean, they won't. They're heavily like underdogs, but okay.
Wait a minute, you think Notre Dame loses against Ohio State?
Yes.
They're heavy underdogs.
I wouldn't be surprised. That's all I'm saying.
No, I remember Chip Kelly. He
This-
did great things.
Yeah, Chip Kelly, who has a very successful offense, who had a decent NFL career for his first 2-3 years, and then just shat down.
Like no, I what I learned is that these coaching cycles is about elevating people too. So I think he'll absolutely be considered in circles for years.
See,
to
I would
come.
agree with you, but if that was the case, Harbaugh would have been a Bear.
No, absolutely not. You're wrong.
If you wanna talk
Harbaugh
about
was never going to be a
elevating.
Harbaugh was never going to be a
No,
Bear
no,
because
no,
of the stuff with Kevin Warren and the stuff with George McCaskey.
Oh, I
Too
know, I
much
agree with
friction.
you, but I'm saying, but you
What
don't
I
think
was saying
he
was,
could have
like, not-
elevated the team?
No.
Still, it didn't. Regardless, 100% agree that he could have
Okay, there we
elevated it, but
Yeah,
he
that's all.
wouldn't
No,
have been
no.
a Bear.
I
It doesn't
think we-
matter. You
That's
could.
not what I
You
was
could.
saying.
Boopin's going to talk, but I'm going to keep talking.
That's
you
not
could
what I'm
have.
saying.
You could have said, "Joe, I guarantee you, if you hire Harbaugh, you're making the playoffs." And George and Kevin would have said, "Nope, don't care. Next." Doesn't matter.
Okay, what I was saying was elevation, as in like some people in college that deserves recognition. If you have friends in these NFL places, you get interviewed, so your profile gets in the limelight. Is what I was saying. So like maybe in next cycle, the following cycle, you actually get considered for roles. That's what I was saying. And Notre Dame being so close to Chicago, I think that's just friends being friends.
I think either Chris is right or Chris is 100% wrong. And I think he's 100% wrong because I don't think
Either Chris is
that
right
he-
or Chris is wrong.
I don't think he wants to bring the attention to Notre Dame. I don't think he wants to bring attention to himself.
Mhm.
I don't think he wants any part of the NFL at this time. And if
That's a
he
solid
did,
argument.
I
That's a
think
solid
he
argument.
would be
But
a guy that would potentially get the head coaching job.
But he would make more sense coming to Chicago than
Don't say Mike McCarthy because you're wrong.
I was going to say Ben Johnson at this point.
No,
Given-
100% wrong.
Given that Johnson is not even, I'm just
Guys,
saying, given
You
what we know
can't
now.
sit here and say Ben Johnson has less qualifications than a guy in
No,
college.
I'm not talking about qualifications. Like this is not qualifications.
Guys, I already said it's like Sanders and
Guys, let's just end this fucking shit. It's been a fucking pleasure. I loved every minute of this season. Thank you, even though the end of the season sucks. Maybe one year we'll have a good season to talk about the Bears. All I know is I have a quarterback that threw for 3,500 yards,
Oh, here we go.
20 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Let's go. Maybe we'll do a future episode in the coming weeks, but
We'll continue.
And maybe
to
we'll
still
get
be
Spotify
above
filled about-
mediocre.
thank you all.
in Caleb we trust.
In
No, we
Caleb we trust.
Goodbye.
That was long.